How to gain confidence when selling. So this is going to be one of my favorite podcast episodes because selling is something that as an entrepreneur we need to do. By selling, we're giving people an opportunity to change their life by buying our products. Therefore, selling is not a bad thing that we're doing. And that was the belief that I had a long time ago, that if I sold to someone, if I made them give me their money, I was doing something bad by them. And that's not the case. Because every time I sell my coaching or my therapy, I give people a chance to overcome whatever anxieties or depressions they originally had. And if I was able to do that, they would thank me. So therefore, I need to be great at selling. But here's the thing. In school, they never taught me about selling. And for you, if you went to school or whatever, there's a good chance that you weren't taught selling. And this is a skill that you have to pick up on your own. And therefore, I want to help you to build confidence to do that, but also to do that at a high level. So one story that I love telling is my journey throughout, selling and all that other stuff, right? So one day, as I've always said, I was sitting down just thinking, man, I really want to get paid more. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not like, bad me, bad me. Like, hey, I felt that my time was worth more. Therefore, I started to ask more for it, right? And that goes to confidence in itself, right? Just being able to acknowledge your own self-worth. So I'm sitting around, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be great if people paid me twice as much as I was getting paid now? So I was like, you know what? Let's test this out. Let's see what would happen if I go out and ask people to pay twice as much as I'm asking people to pay me right now. So I'm sitting around waiting for the next person to give me a call, and someone reaches out to me. And I say, okay, we have a great opportunity. So we're going through the sales call and we're talking and talking and talking. And I end up telling them my price. And when I did it, guys, I gotta admit, I was scared. I was nervous. I told them the price and they said, I can't do that. And I was like, okay. And I just let them go. I didn't do any objections. I didn't try to fight through it. I didn't try to talk them into it. I kind of just let them go. And the sad part about that is that they're still going through that pain, right? Like, again, there's a good chance that I had the cure that they were waiting for, and I didn't help them to see that. So therefore, again, it's a good idea for us to help make people buy our stuff, our services, our products. So after that, I was feeling very crushed, very defeated, because I felt like I wasn't very confident when that person gave me a call. So time went by, I started to kind of, get over that, and it hit me. It hit me that I needed to actually have a plan when I was going into these sales. So I decided to pick up a book, learn a format, right? Learn a framework before I go and try to sell my next client, if you will. So I sat down, I typed everything out, and therefore I had this platform, I had this framework that I was going to use, that I was going to stand by the next time someone gave me a call. So a few days go by, another person gives me a call. And I run them through the framework, and at the end, I tell them my price again, and they say no. And guess what? I failed, right? I didn't go through the objections. I was still nervous, still kind of feeling anxious about it. And I started to get it in my head a little bit. I had to actually step back and ask myself, what did I do well on this sales call? And what I saw was that out of the 10 steps, 8 of them, I did really well. It was the last 2 that I didn't do so well in. So what I ended up doing was buying a book for those last 2 steps, and I went even deeper into that part of the selling process, if you will. And what ended up happening next is that the next people that gave me a call, I was able to close them back to back. And that kind of goes to show what's it like to push through and persevere through tough times. And that's why I want to give this podcast episode to you guys. Because again, I want to help you to build a confidence to not only sell your services, but I can even say this, to even raise the prices of your services, okay? So what I want to do is I want to go into the 3 steps you need to understand in order to be more confident when selling. So the first one I already alluded to, which is where you need to have a framework when you're selling. And the reason why is because we want to put all the outcomes based on the framework and not on us. Because here's the thing, what happens when we take on all the outcomes, when we take it personal, we start to think that, oh man, like something's wrong with me or something wrong with the way that I speak or who I am, and that's why they said no. And when that happens, people start to develop the belief that they're not worthy, and that stops them from selling. That keeps them to selling their prices at a low price, and we don't want that. Now, here's another thing. If you also do not have a framework that you put all your outcomes on, and let's say you're doing really well, you may find yourself too confident or so confident that you start to get lazy, start to think that you're God when it comes to selling, and you don't brush up on your skills, and thus you start to get lapped by other people, or you start to see your sales start to plummet because you're not, again, doing the same thing that you started off doing, just grinding, hustling, learning, and trying to revamp your selling skills, your reselling process, if you will. So by having a framework, it actually protects us from the outcomes, good or bad, and it allows us to be very objective when it comes to the selling process. Because as it sits right now, every time I get on a sales call, I pull up a document and I run my clients through the process. And at the end, I ask them those right questions, right? I ask them, it's very key to ask them the right questions to get them to see that this is the opportunity that they've been looking for. And if they still say no and they don't take the down sell or anything like that, then I have to ask myself some other questions about why this sale didn't go the way that I wanted. But the last thing that I'm looking at is me, right? The self-concept of me, of I, if you will. And that's one of the things that's gonna help you to be more confident. So what I want you to do is to find some framework, all right? You can literally go on Amazon. You can probably find someone on, let's say, Instagram or Facebook that's selling a course. And I also would say vet them out. But you can find these people. They'll give you a script, right? They'll give you a process to follow. And I want you to study that. I want you to go out there and just try it again and again and again. And in a previous episode, I talked a little bit about overcoming the fear of failure. All right. So I want you to check out that podcast episode as well, because that will help you with this piece as well. So step number 1, find a framework and place all the outcomes based on the framework and not you, so you don't take them personal. All right. And here's the second one. So I've kind of alluded to this one already, but the second way to feel more confident when selling is to understand that you will get better at time as you get the reps in. So many people feel as though they have to be perfect on that first sales call, and that's totally not the case. I need you to be real open to learning, more so than you are to winning. What's more important when it comes to developing a growth mindset is understanding the processes. It's becoming a learner. It's the studying piece. It has nothing to do with the outcome, because by obsessing over the process, you will actually develop an ability to accomplish whatever outcome or dream you're hoping for. Something that I love looking at, and I'm going to take this in a different area, if you will. I love Facebook ads. And what I love more about that is that there are specific numbers I can look at, whether it's how many people clicked on this landing page and actually bought versus this landing page, right? Or once they got to the landing page, what buttons were they pressing? It gives me the breakdown, it gives me the percentages to show me, hey, these people tend to like this copy, this offer, or this landing page more than the other ones. And that's where I can kind of geek out a little bit. I can kind of be a little bit of a nerd and start to see like, okay, if I turn this button, if I twist this knob, if I change this lever or pull this lever, I get more people to say yes. And that's fun, guys. But here's the thing. When I first started the Facebook ad, it wasn't converting at the rate that it's converting now. And that's something I talked a little bit about in another episode. But here's the thing, I want you to think about this, okay? Because this is the statistics when it comes to Facebook ads. So typically in the industry, if your Facebook ad is converting at 15 to 20%, so you put an ad out there and 15 to 20% of the people that click that ad buy your stuff, if you get 15 to 20% to say yes, you're doing pretty well, all right? My Facebook ad didn't start off like that, all right? It's actually a little bit below. But as I started to see what was working and started to make the adjustments, I was able to get my ads to start to convert, not at 15, not at 20%, but at 37%, right? Like that's crazy, right? That's double what we say is good in this industry. But that's something that I had to learn over time. And it's the same thing with selling. So what I would ask you to do, let's say you do virtual, or let's say you're doing it over the phone, or even in person. What I want you to do is I want you to actually visualize and replay what happened during the sales call, during the presentation. You can even do this too. You can ask the people, once they say no, you guys agree that this is not the right fit, you can ask them, what was it that stopped you from saying yes? They may say the price. They may say it was, hey, we needed more of something like this. You know, I'm just trying to make something up. And from there, you can actually start to see if we need to make tweaks, whether it's to the product or service, or maybe it's tweaks to the audience, okay? We're gonna get into that a little bit next. So it's those things that's gonna let you see that, hey, it's not really me, but it's something outside of me. And it's actually something that I can control as well. All right. Again, this is so, so important, but I need you guys to take on the mindset of a learner. So it's not about where you are right now, but I want you to imagine where you can be a year from now if you increase the amount of sales calls that you're making, if you increase the amount of opportunities you are presenting. Think about that, guys. All right. Because I believe that you would definitely get a lot better and you would have a lot more money in your pockets if you did that. And here's the third and final way, and I kind of went into this one already, but the third way you can gain confidence in selling is by doing a better job at marketing, right? When you do a good job at marketing, you're increasing the chances of bringing in the right fishies into your funnel. Therefore, the chances of them taking the bait that you give them increases. When that happens, you're naturally are going to start to feel more confident. So it's kind of like, let's say, a batter at the batting cages, right? Like they say 300 is a great batting percentage. Well, if you're batting at 200 or 100, you start to see yourself incrementally get better. You start to develop that belief in yourself that, hey, I'm pretty good at this. But if you're not, let's say, approaching it from the right perspective, if you don't have the right, in this framework, if you don't have the right audience, it's going to feel like what you're doing is wrong. And that's not the case. Because, and let's think about it like this. If you had fire that you were selling, and you're trying to sell that fire to someone that's in the desert, chances are they're not going to buy it. But if you had a ice cold cup of water and you went to someone in the desert and you're selling it to them, not only they will buy it, they'll probably buy everything that you have. They'll probably overpay for it because of where they are. And that's what we want to do. So again, the confidence that you're looking for, it actually may be lurking in your marketing. And I can go further into this, where not only is it in the marketing, but it may be in the product as well. And here's the thing, if you are the product, because for me, hey, I am the product, right? As a coach, as a therapist, people are buying me. So what I need to do is make sure that I'm investing in myself and learning new techniques, new strategies, so that when someone's coming to me for depression, anxiety, they're looking to build their confidence, I have new innovative ways to help them with that. That's why investing in yourself is just so, so important. Okay, so I want you guys to always make improvements to what it is that you're offering. And to do that, you also need to ask yourself again why people aren't buying what you're buying, and then seeing if you can add that into the actual offer. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm offering a course on how to accomplish goals. Okay, I can offer that course, but someone may say, okay, it's great to have this course, but I'm not going to buy it because I may not know how to manage my time. Well, if I see that, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give them a course on how to build or how to set and accomplish goals, but also I'm going to give them a course on how to manage their time now. With these two things, it's going to increase the likelihood of them actually buying the course, right? Because I'm solving their problems. But to do that, I have to know what they're struggling with. And that's something that's also very important. It kind of goes to all of these things that I'm mentioning. I really need you to know your customers better than they know themselves. This is why analyzing, taking notes is just so, so important. There's a famous saying that I have, and I tell this in some of my other podcasts. I tell it to some of my friends, but I tell them this. I tell them, when someone reaches out to me to therapy, right, this is the first time that they're meeting me, but I've already met them 1,000 times before. So they're not telling me anything new. Like, I know them better than they know themselves. And what I'm trying to say is that these problems that they're coming in with, because my marketing is so specific, the problems that they're coming in with is not by chance. I know exactly what they're going through, and I know exactly what they need to help them to overcome these problems. So something that I see a lot, and you can let me know if you fit this bucket, I see a lot of people that are very talented, but they lack the confidence in themselves to execute on that talent that they have. And because of that, they find themselves feeling depressed, anxious, and stressed out. In other words, they feel stuck. They have this fear of failing, and because of that, they do all the learning, but never any of the implementing. Does that sound like you? Right? It probably does. It may stick a little bit. And if it doesn't, it may have been someone that you were maybe a year ago or a few years ago. I definitely used to be that person. All right? So I know exactly how to help those people. And if you've been listening to these podcasts, there's a good chance you found some gems in here as well. So these are the 3 things you can do, and they're very quick and very simple to help you to overcome any fears you have with selling, so that way you can rock out and help out your clients, your customers, who are also making a profit, right? So it's a win-win situation. So again, I'm gonna summarize these three. First, you need to have a framework. I do not want any outcome being based on you. The outcomes always need to be based on a framework, okay? That will protect you from feeling too confident to where now you're getting lazy, but also prevent you from feeling not confident enough to where you're not taking any chances at all. The second, you need to understand that, man, with marketing, you're gonna naturally get better. It's kind of like riding a bike. And I just need you to know that you need to have a growth mindset where we're focused on the learning more so than the outcome. If you do that, you'll gradually see yourself get better. And then third, you really need to spiff up your marketing or even the product that you're offering, okay? These two things will help make sure that people say yes more to the things that you're offering because you're making it more bulletproof, all right? So again, it's not about you, but it's about the product, it's about the service, it's about the audience, right? That we're trying to get, right? That we're putting out there, if you will. So guys, that is the end. Thank you for checking this out. My name is Coach Wells. And again, make sure you subscribe to this podcast for more episodes like this. All right, guys, I'll see you later.